Hey guys, this is Tom Hanks, and last weekend on a stream I attempted to build a 1967 Le Mans prototype racer that would compete with the Ford GT40 and the Ferrari 330 P4, and I failed. However, I tried to I tried to beat them with a car that's roughly comparable in terms of hardware, if you will, to what they used. Today, however, I want to take the liberal approach to what the prototype class was, and that was basically like anything goes. Um, and so the two main factors that made it so we couldn't quite get to the same performance levels on the stream were the cars weren't powerful enough to get the same sort of top speeds that the real cars had, even if we had the horsepower that they made. And the second was the cornering was pretty rubbish because we didn't have downforce like the real cars. So I want to make this clear. I think I'm gonna go with this coupe for now, even though it is gonna be the heaviest. But I think we should still go with this transfers. And I'm gonna go all out here. I'm gonna go with a massive engine, probably a big V8. I'm gonna go with just tons of horsepower. I'm gonna go with a lot of quality on everything. And I'm gonna go with some downforce as well, just so you guys know. 6.1 liters should be enough for us to make a ton of horsepower. We're gonna go with high-end components, just like the real cars did. I think this should be around enough. We're not gonna get access to turbos. We're gonna go with race intakes. Something like +8 quality here. And then the race headers. Okay, so I think that we will probably have to decrease the bore, or sorry, the stroke of this engine. Piston, forged pistons. I think we're gonna go a little bit lower on the stroke. Six liters should still be enough. You know what, we could also just go for like 5.8, which is still way more than the Ferrari had. Less than the Ford had, but we're gonna rev substantially higher. And so we can take advantage of that. So now we're also gonna increase the ignition timing. Dude, this does a lot. Okay, up to a point. But it does a lot lower down in that range. So, okay, 612 horsepower. I don't think this is quite enough yet for this car to hit like 200 miles an hour or something. So I'm gonna increase this a little bit more. Let's see if we can get this up to 6 liters. Yes, without like while still fitting the engine. Yes, we can. So 6 liters, 632 horsepower. And we're gonna get a little bit more from extra compression. I want the slightly better torque curve. Let's see. Oh, from 77 to 78, look at how much that does. Good lord. That's a lot. Can I get like 655? 657? $653, $648. I want like a round number, like $650 perhaps, or $655. Oh, there we go, $650. Good. I think that's enough. This is 165 horsepower more than the Ford GT40 made, so this is not realistic. This is not an engine you'd actually see, or this is not the sort of power output you'd see in the 67 Le Mans race of any car. And I want to make this clear beforehand. We're gonna go with really massive... Oh, look at that, you can actually see the engine. Gonna go with really massive tires as well. Big downforce. Okay. And lots of aero quality as well, because that is something we had to throw on anyway, even on the other car. So we could even get close to 300 kilometers now. We didn't quite break it, but we got to 290 something on both cars, so... Now I'm gonna fit a pretty simple grille as well, something like this. Some side indicators are mandatory, I think. Obviously, I'm not gonna bother with like an elaborate paint job or anything like that. I'm just gonna make a car that, you know, functionally works. Let's be a little bit bigger, like so. And then I'm gonna see if even this is gonna be enough to race somewhat successfully in the 1967 Le Mans race. Because even if these measures still don't work, then I think the issue might not be with the game. The issue might be with the player. On. There we go. This thing needs a fuel tank and door handles. Let's just go with these. Okay, something like that. And then I'm also gonna put a big grill on the rear. And also a big wing. Oh, you can actually see through. You can barely see parts of the engine. Now it's time for a wing. I don't want anything that looks too modern, you know? What is this? It's too small. How about that? No, 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 no. Something classic like this could work. Yeah. That's a prototype right there, like an actual vehicle you wouldn't sell at for the road at the time. A concept almost. The only question is going to be, is this fast enough, you know? Because it might not be with the massive wing. It might at the very least handle well. And just so you know, I'm gonna throw every trick that I know. Well, maybe not every trick I know at this, but I'm gonna try, you know? I want to at least accomplish something with this. Either get close in top speed to the other cars, or make this thing actually handle super duper well. One or the other. Okay, so the top speed is actually looking pretty decent here. Gonna give this thing long gearing, because we are of course only rear-wheel drive. We are gonna need bigger tires than 285s, but we can only have 295s. So, oh god, that's gonna be a problem. Magnesium rims. Obviously, a really aggressive brake type. I don't think this is gonna help us that much. But I'm gonna adjust the aero a little bit later. I'm gonna remove one seat. We don't need any interior. We shouldn't have a power steering either. Okay, now this weighs 1471.4 kilograms, which is way too much. And it still doesn't do over 300 kilometers an hour. I need to reduce this to like 20. Once just go no, 299. Still not enough. We need to go with another body, I suppose. Can you fit that engine into this car? Because I don't think I want it in this, because it's got snap oversteer, and that's only gonna be more and more present with 650 horsepower, you know? Let's try it. The current engine does not fit. Huh. But it's not too large by very much. Oh, it's too wide. Then let's go for 60 degree. Okay, there we go. Now it's too long again. No, it's too wide. So we can go with 102.5 on the bore. How much power does that make now? 607 horsepower. We can push the red line not much higher. 7,700, 7,800. So we can try and make a little bit more. We can try and get the stroke a little bit higher. But that won't help us very much, apparently. 630 horsepower though. I think that should still be enough for this car. Now let's throw together a design. Okay. That's not very aerodynamic though. Just go with the same headlights as last time. I deleted the old car, by the way, so that's why I couldn't just go with the same one I already had and adjust that. Because, you know, for a while I was like, you know, I'm giving up. But I'm not giving up that easily, you know? So another vent like here. And again, I don't care about realism in this one. I just wanna actually be competitive with the real cars in terms of the speeds they were able to achieve and the performance. Even if it takes, you know, a ridiculous amount of power or downforce. I know that I complained about this car's handling with it being very easy to get to mid-corner understeer, but at the same time, it is still probably going to be substantially quicker than the other car with, you know, 300 kilograms more. Well, the other car would have 300 kilograms more, roughly. Okay, so I think we have all we need. How much is this weigh? 1117. There you have it. It's over 350 kilograms lighter. Now, what about the gearbox here? How is this so slow? Look at that wheel spin. Oh, okay, that's why. Everything else is still on here, except for the headlights, I suppose. There we go. Okay. Two 55s. What do we have here? 1.14 G. 1.15. A little bit higher ride height. Here we go. The reason I lift the ride height up a little bit, by the way, is one, so that well, just for better ground clearance, really, because the real life Le Mans circuit isn't perfectly flat either. Especially it especially wasn't back in the 60s. So you know, slightly more travel in the suspension is probably going to be a good thing. So 309 kilometers an hour. So at least we're noticeably above 300 kilometers an hour now. By the way, obviously they weren't using standard, you know, transmissions either. So 312 kilometers an hour. We're getting somewhere. 630 horsepower. That's a lot. So now let's try and get even more. 640. Can we get 645? No, we can't. No. No. Okay. Maybe we can. 645. 647. 644, okay. $648. Don't really want to lose that torque there. $645. Okay, there we go. 315 kilometers an hour. $313 now. 316. The Ferrari 330 P4, by the way, could do 320. So I call this close enough. And now is gonna come the moment of truth, and I'm gonna see how this thing drives in BeamNG. Come on. So remember now, we're making about 160 more horsepower than the Ford GT40 in that year, which was the most powerful car in its class. So again, not really that realistic, but at the same time, we're doing this just for fun, just to see, can I even get close to the performance? And on numbers, I suppose, in terms of top speed, yeah, I can get close with a lot more horsepower. Had I removed the rear wing, we would have gotten that top speed with substantially less horsepower. But we weren't able to do it last time with 500 horsepower. So, and that was already more than the Ford GT40 made, but pretty close. Let's see. Is this drivable at all? Is my question here. 2.5 seconds, 0 to 100 kilometers an hour here on the drag strip. This thing pulls like crazy. It does not like turning though. So I really think that the Ferraris of the time would have had an advantage in the corners. But accelerating out of the corners, I can't imagine them being much faster than this. Oh, that was already first gear. I thought I was still in second. And there goes the game again. So I think we can probably come to the conclusion that at this exact position on that track in BeamNG, the game likes to crash. And we can also come to the conclusion that yes, I can build a car that would be a prototype in the Le Mans series in 1967, which is far beyond any real car of the time in terms of horsepower, but it would still be able to probably do reasonably well. I had to resort to a much more powerful engine again, probably just because of the way that the calculations in automation work. I suppose that you know, if you try to make an actual Ford GT40 replica in this game with 485 horsepower doing 215 miles an hour, I think the game would probably not allow for that anyway. I think that it does not account for such, aerodynamic efficiency or whatever allowed the Ford to actually do that speed. But here we are. This can at least keep up in a straight line with the Ferraris, like on a long straight line. It's gonna slightly fall short of the top speed of the Ferrari, but it's gonna get there more quickly because it has so much power. Anyway, guys, as far as handling goes, this car can still be refined, I suppose, but we made it. We made a car that can actually keep up with a 67 Le Mans car, at least in a straight line. I can refine the handling a little bit more so it can corner slightly better maybe, but I don't think you're ever gonna really get rid of the mid-corner understeer that this body for some reason inherently possesses. Thanks for watching, hope you had fun, and see you next time.